fail. That's what I learned at Honda, and that's what I teach. First time, second time, of course, nobody will react. As long as you have done your root cause analysis and you have a very solid plan to address that, it's okay. And especially if you're a supplier to Honda, better be very clear. When you're going to Honda, they will not kill you, but they will ask you, have you done root cause analysis? And you're going to learn. I didn't even give you the sheet, it's in that box, A3 problem solving. They'll ask you to fill out that sheet. And in the sheet, if you lie, it will be clear. They will catch you. Especially if you only say, it was an operator error, you are calling for a trouble. You cannot say in front of Honda or Toyota or any good manager that it was people's issue. People will make mistake. What did you do to control it? So it was okay to make mistake, but not okay to make stupid mistakes, and not okay to give stupid and lame reasons. That was not okay. And I have seen in those meetings where people gave stupid reasons, they got it. They're not talking about the problem, they're talking about how you're going to fix the problem. Once I've done the current state analysis with the people in the room, found all the inefficiencies, and when we are going for solutions, that's where people are afraid to make a change. That we will not change anything because, especially in public service, I observed that. People are so afraid to make a change because for the last so many years, they've been told, follow it, otherwise citizens will put you in the newspaper or something. People are really afraid to make process changes in public service, I can tell you that. But as long as we do it in a controlled manner, as long as we can change that bylaw or that policy, it's okay. Who writes the bylaws and policies and procedures? Who writes it?
Rudy, no.
It's the people. People wrote it for the people. If it makes sense, change the bylaw. Change the law, have your case study, have your data in your hand before you change the law.
Speaking to change, I've been put in a position in a company where I'm responsible for the work of people that are a lot older than I am. And it's just a matter of taking people's thoughts into account. Everybody wants to feel like they're contributing. And I find that younger techs are much more pliable. You can change, they can change their mentality much easier.
Again, I don't want her to beat you.
It's all good. No, can I respond to that?
Sure, please.
I think you always have to think about, I'm very much about thinking about the people, right? And everybody's an individual, whether their age. However, when you're a certain age, you have, and I'm all about change, so I get that. But when you've been in industry for 30 years, you've seen a lot of change. And you've probably seen a lot of bad change or experienced a lot of bad change. And so you can become, and anybody who hasn't been empowered to be part of that change and has been exposed to bad change, become apprehensive about the change. So that's why you need to kind of take maybe a different approach. And that's why, it's not just because they're old.
Even my manager, where I had so many issues, maybe that manager has seen so much beating for over years that he or she became that way.
It's like a conditional response, right? That's what it is.
And I cannot blame only him or her, right? And to be honest, that's why I wanted to venture on my own. I love public service, and I'm helping public service this way. Not this way, but this way, I'm helping it. I didn't want to feel, what's the right word? Like trained and cannot make a change. Now I can, whoever is calling me, I'm making a change for them, and I move on to the next sector. So you have to find it for yourself. Core values of lean. Respect the people, challenge the people, people will fix the process. You guys have already. In their case, again, not sharing your dirty laundry, but if I don't give examples, people don't get it. A file would come in, God forbid you ever have a heart problem. You have a heart problem, he touches the file first, then she's touching at home, populates something into the date record, then he touches the same file for you sitting in the office, then again he touches the file, then she again touches the file. 5 or 6 times they used to touch. What they did, they changed it now. Now it's at least 1 or 2 touches from 5 touches. So you guys are already making change. Because people were on the process, they made a change. The file moves faster now. Initiative, equality, and trust. People want initiative. People want, tell me, what are the challenges? 80 or 70 to 80% of the people want challenge. They want to feel good at the end of the day. They want to wake up in the morning and they want to do something bigger than themselves. But if you don't give them initiative, you don't challenge them, you're going to get mediocre. You ask mediocrity, you're going to get mediocrity. Equality. Have you seen those clans, I will say, in an organization who goes to the lunch together, who have the meetings together, and you cannot enter that circle of trust? People watch you. People watch everything what's happening. Everybody should be equal. And last but not least, people should be not looking for their back. Who's going to stab me today? You are worried inside, forget about the competition. You're fighting inside, your competition is very happy. Keep on fighting. Douglas McGregor theory. How many people have heard this theory? Very simple theory. Manager X, manager Y, manager X thinks control. Manager X thinks people are stupid, people need to be told, people need to be monitored. Manager Y say people are positive, challenge them, give them targets, they will do on their own. We believe theory of Y. Listen, listen, listen. Especially when you will be doing lean process review, you cannot listen enough. Listen to your people, listen to your stakeholders, listen to your customer, and put all this potpourri together and you will find your answers. But if you don't listen, or you do a process review from surface, I've been bugging Lisa, deep dive, deep dive, deep dive. She is a deep diver, but she's working with John, she's bothering John a lot. But deep dive and fix the process where it belongs by listening and by tweaking. Captain Michael Abrashoff took the worst US Navy ship in history and turned into the best US Navy ship in history. I am the outgoing captain, you are captain, Michael Abrashoff. Here is the key. All these people on the ship are garbage. They treat me as garbage, I treat them as garbage. I used to fight with them. Whenever they said something, I would shout on them. I gave them bad reviews and their salaries hasn't been increased for the last 10 years. I don't care about them, but good news is I'm retiring. You have the ship now. The worst US Navy ship. Look what he did.
I wanted to connect with each and every sailor on that ship, all 310 of them. The sailors who were doing the high-profile jobs, as well as the sailors who were doing the seemingly menial jobs that, that we needed to have done in order to operate our ship. And I decided the only way I could connect with each one would be to interview every sailor individually. It was just myself, the sailor, the command master chief, and it gave me the opportunity to look into each sailor's eyes and tell them what we're about. We're about being number one in our industry. We're not playing to come in number two, and that I can't do it without you. It's not a one-man show. In these interviews, I got to know my sailors, their names, their spouses' names, their children's names, their hometowns. I asked them what their goals were while they were in the Navy. Most of my sailors never had anybody in their lives to sit them down and say, hey, what are your goals? How can I help you achieve them? I asked them why they joined the Navy. I found out that over 50% joined because they wanted to go to college, but their families were too poor to send them, so they joined for the GI Bill, for the tuition assistance. Same reason why I went to the Naval Academy. 6 or 7 kids, my family was too poor to send me to college. When I found out how many wanted to go to college, I decided we're going to help you get in. We offered the SAT exam on board the ship. At the time, 1,600 was a perfect score. When the results came back, one of my entry-level seamen, she was 19 years old. She had been doing chipping and painting with the deck force. She scored a 1490 out of 1,600. Now, I know that may not impress many of you, but I took that thing twice when I was in high school. And I'm not sure I got 1490 combined the 2 times I took it. And when I realized how smart my crew was, I added 3 questions in the interviews. What do you like most about Benfold? What do you like least? What would you change if you were the captain of this ship? One sailor comes in and says, do you know how many times we've painted this ship in the last 12 months? And I said, no. He said, 6 times. And every time we paint the ship, it takes us a month to paint the ship. So every other month we're painting this ship. He said, have you ever painted your home? I said, yes. He said, it sucks, doesn't it? And I said, what's your point? We've been painting ships for 235 years. He said, did you ever stop to notice why we have to paint the ship every other month? He said, every major piece of equipment that's topside on this ship that's being held in place to the hull, it's being held in place with nuts, bolts, screws, washers, and fasteners that are made out of ferrous metal that rust in salt water. And when it rusts, it streaks rust stains down the side of the ship. He said, have you ever heard of stainless steel? And I said, you mean the stuff that doesn't rust in salt water? And he said, exactly. You know, this is stuff I tolerated my entire career. That's what we do. We've been doing it for forever. Then I started looking at this. You know, this is $5 an hour work. You know, this is work that's keeping us from figuring out how to defend ourselves better. So I took out our U.S. government Visa card, scoured the globe looking for materials we could change this stuff out with, spent about $25,000, painted the ship. We did not have to paint the ship again for the next 10 months. That program has since been implemented on every ship in the entire U.S. Navy. And it came because a 21-year-old sailor raised his hand and said, hey, Captain, you'll get a load of this. I used to say to the crew, it's your ship. You own it just as much as I do.
It's a true story. The book name is, it's not written here, the book name is It's Your Ship. I don't need to explain this. He's not a lean consultant. He's not a lean, he's a common sense servant leader. And that's what actually makes or breaks company. Do you think your customer care about your department, divisions, hierarchies? Not at all. They care about the service they're getting at the end. Break the communication. Let the communication flow from wherever it, and yesterday you were saying you have a communication barrier. Write down this, please. Huddles are the most important. Start the huddle, forget about the numbers first, just start meeting for 5 minutes and never sit down for a huddle meeting. It has to be a huddle meeting. It has taken from sports. Ho renso, hokaku renraku sodan, which is 3 Japanese word, which means if you're going to make a change to the people, go talk to the people. That's the so in Japanese, which means consult the people. Then talk to your peers, which is ren, which means update the concerned people, quality, engineering, whoever, before you go ho, which is report to 360-degree communication. You guys call it, we call it ho ren so. Very important. That's the one thing I learned a lot. Whenever I'm doing a process and I don't get it, until unless I've talked to the person who does the job, that's why we call for process walk. That's why we ask, go, walk and talk to the person. Avatar, first quality of a lean leader or any leader should be lead with a purpose. Lead with an objective. People will follow you. You have to be very, very passionate if you want to really make a process improvement. Lots of people ask me, why are you so passionate? If you're not passionate, forget it, nothing is changing. Because they read it. They feed from you. They feed the energy from you as a leader. So what have I learned from this movie? The hero has to live in 2 bodies. He was sent in a body of the avatar to go there and woo them, lie, deceit, whatever, get them out, get the mineral, sell on planet Earth for billions of dollars. That's the plot. But he realizes that's wrong in the movie, and then he connects with the people. I loved the animals were connected to the humans. The humans were connected to the plants. Everything was connected in this movie. This is what happens in organization. When we do process reviews or any kind of review, we forget that we are all connected. Especially when you are making a change, make sure if I'm going to do this, how it's going to affect there. Always remember that. Everything is connected. It's a glass house. And I have been through those process reviews where people say, why am I doing it? Let's let her do it. It's still sitting in the whole organization. The money hasn't gone anywhere. You haven't improved anything. One thing I don't like about process reviews is, this is the process, they only improve the piece of the process. Hey, we made process improvement. But the net result is still the same. The file used to take 200 days, the file is still taking 210 days. What have you improved? Well, now we improved our process, we reduced our touch time, great, but you haven't given value back to the client. I always suggest do a big process, at least mapping, and then find the pockets of improvement. Be flexible. Think, put yourself in other people's shoes. Even if you are a consultant in an organization, put yourself in their shoes and think, how would they think? Okay? Start at the bottom. This is called Gamba walk. This is called process walk in Japanese. Walk the process for yourself. How many people have done the process walk when they're reviewing the process? You must have done process drives. You hop onto the truck. So what was your experience? What happens? What changes when you walk the process?
You actually understand the issues these guys are faced with day in, day out. And the guy made it on purpose to drive super fast, so I was going to fail. Because we have to operate computers.
Yeah.
And let's say the speed limit was 50 miles per hour, he would drive at 50, right? And I'm like, come on. So yeah, you learn a lot.
I think we did something like that yesterday with the walking.
That was not a process walk. That was a process talk.
But, oh, well,
I had you in the room, but I didn't go to you. I didn't shadow you. I didn't follow with you and understand what you have to go through an X-ray. I didn't become a patient. I didn't put patient on myself back, and I went through the journey. Generally, that's what I do when I go to a clinic. I put a patient on myself and ultrasound. At least they will pull my shirt up and at least do a without raise, just to show me whatever steps they have to go through. That's a process walk. I bothered this guy for 2 days, and then he pushed me out. Well, his process is complex. I couldn't understand his process, so I had to bug him for 2 days.
I've done a few of them, but I've done it with bylaw as well, and just you start to empathize, start to understand the challenges they face, and actually they open up a lot when you're in there, because they'll start telling you a lot of stuff that you really...
You're like savior to them. You're like God to them. You're like, are you here to save me? You're going to pull me out of this dungeon? That's how, if you have engaged them. Yeah. If they trust you, they will give you every button, every click they make, and they'll tell you, why do I have to do this 6 clicks? People have showed me, why do I have to make 2 reports? I was the assistant superintendent, transit maintenance. Nobody had ever showed up at 2 o'clock in the night to see the pains when all the dirty buses comes. And people respect you for that. Forget about the change. People just respect you. They will start listening to you that, oh, he's not just talk. He came at 2 a.m. in the morning. Other thing I learned was build on team strength. You cannot fix everything. You never can. It's not humanly possible. If I'm doing a process review and you are the 6 people, rather than CJ making changes, which will be 1 or 2 change, you guys can make 12 changes together. That's what I have learned. When we do lean process reviews, nobody goes empty-handed. Everybody takes action items. It's not about just fun, 2 days of food and 2 days of drink, and you didn't take anything. No. You are taking 3 things with you. And when you distribute, people love it. Be honest, share openly, good, bad, and ugly. Whatever is in your mind, speak openly in front of people. People read. We are humans. We can read lies. We can read body languages. But I was doing another project in library, and I tried to always, at the start of the project with objective, try to come out with a simple statement which connects everybody. So when you hold a book, you want a book, you put a hold. The book may be available in that library, and you live close to this library, right? You're getting my point? There are different libraries, right? 17 or 18 libraries. And we were trying to reduce the lead time of hold process, how to get the book faster. So the biggest problem we found out was the truck goes every day. People didn't even knew what time the truck is coming, and they were missing the trucks. It cuts 24 hours right away when you miss the truck, and it throws the average out. Lean data is very simple. It games of averages. You can reduce lead time very easily by focusing on the higher numbers. You know what was the purpose of that project or objective? Catch the truck. I love it. Nothing else. They cut down lead time by 50%. They knew the truck will come at 9:05. They would start at 8 and have all the books ready for that library. That's it. That was the change. I didn't tell you the other change, the 4 months to 1 day. The problem was the book would change 7 carts. Somebody said, book will never leave 1 cart. That's it. That was the process change. 4 months change into 1 day. And they did their own time and motion study. The changes are so simple, and please do not go into a process review with thinking solution in your mind. Have solution in your mind, keep it on the backdrop. What will happen if you go with a solution in the process review already? You are wasting our time. You already know what you want to do. So I was doing IT process review one day and manager came to me, CJ, I wrote this policy 6 years back. This is what you have to do. I said, if you did it 6 years back, why haven't you implemented it yet? No, nobody wants to listen. I said, okay, we will not look at this policy till the time solutions come out. At that time, we will look out, have they matched what you wanted or not? And it was totally different what people wanted from what he wanted.